Good evening everyone and welcome to TTL F2. We are here for Season 7, Round 8 of the Championship as we take in the Italian Grand Prix from the Autodromo Nazionale de Monza. Good evening everyone, I am James Head, as always going to be taking you through the stream. He is here after fixing his internet connection as well. It's a good evening to Aidan Carter. Aidan, how are you doing?
I'm doing not too badly, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, yeah. I think with the final 3 rounds to come in the season, I honestly think it's Blizzard's possibly to lose.
At this point, yeah, with a 30-point lead in the championship, it is Blizzard's to lose. But we've seen recently, Blizzard had a really strong midpoint through the season, but we've seen a couple of people starting to come back at Blizzard recently, from like the likes of Toxic winning. We've had Honey Badger winning recently. We've seen a number of people coming back at him, and he didn't have the best of luck last time out at Belgium himself. So you never know, anything could change in these Aussie rounds.
Italy, a completely different track, by the way. 84% of this lap can be taken pretty much flat out. They call it the track of speed or something along the lines of that.
Temple of Speed or
Temple
something like
of
that,
Speed. Got the T right, it was the wrong word. But anyways, just to reflect on what happened last week, and yes, Aidan, you're right. Honey Badger did win last time out in the feature race. Vic Mill second. Blizzard was actually third in the feature race, probably his best result of last week. Sprint race, I mean, Toxic took a Venom second, Vic Mill in third. And out of, so far this season, we have had, I think, 5 or 6 different winners, if I'm not mistaken. Toxic, Spike, Honey, Lyronix, and that is it. So we've only had 4 winners of races this season. And Blizzard, sorry, 5 winners this season in races in terms of sprint and feature race. Championship standings, Blizzard has a big advantage. 171 points to Toxic's 141. That is a gap of 30 points. Vic Mill is in third on 136 points. So a 35-point gap between the top 3 out on track. Then we're back to Honey Badger in 4th on 119. Spike's still there, 115. Don't rule him out of possibly getting 3rd. Siege is in 6th on 92 points. Venom in 7th on 88. Ollie Flavel in 8th on 51. Brandon Glover in 9th on 45. And Sean rounding up the top 10 on 34 points. Steve Threekser is in 11th on 31. Speedy Suarez is in 12th on 24. Casper in 13th on 19. Mays in 14th on 16 with Little Romanino. Good debut from him last week, the Welshman. He's on 15 points in 15th. Conti in 16th on 14 points. Lewis, not his day. Hopefully it might be more of his day tonight in Italy. He's in 17th on 8 points. Lighty is in 18th on 3. Cam and YWR Storm have not scored any points just yet. And that is a run through the driver's standings. And I've got to be honest, I mean, 35 points separating the top 3. It could change tonight because of Italy, the track itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we know that Italy can throw up a bit of chaos, and Italy itself is not really, I'd say, a driver's track in that sort of ways. It isn't very it isn't demanding really on drivers, and you don't really have like the specialist drivers come out the front of Italy, because it's such a track where overtaking and slipstream and everything really brings the pack closer together. So it's definitely going to be a lot closer today, and that can really throw a spanner in the works, especially for Blizzard.
Well, speaking of close, constructor standings, 202 points for Trident. They may have a big advantage, actually, over Campos. It's something like 27 points, I think. Campos in second on 175 points. BWT Arden in third on 164. Univertosi in fourth on 159. It is very close, that constructor standings. I make it, what, 43 points separating the top 4 teams? It's not it's very close indeed. Arc Grand Prix in 5th on 133 points. Dams in 6th on 107. MP Motorsport in 7th on 99. Carlin in 8th on 64. Sauber Jr. in 9th on 51. And Prima in 10th on 28 points. And I mean the constructor standings. My God.
Yeah, really all to play for, isn't it? I mean, a bad weekend for Trident, and we obviously know that manufacturers' points are more common to get in this than drivers, so a bad event for Trident and a good one for Campos, and Campos are right back at the front of the field, but they could drag Arden and Univirtuosi along with them, and I'd say ART as well. They're not out of it just yet. We know how fast Honey Badger is. A couple of good results for Honey Badger and his teammate, I believe his teammate's Conti, isn't it? Any good result really for them, and that's throwing them right back in the mix as well. So I'd say any one of the top 5 is still in with a shot.
Our Grand Prix might be out of the running because Conti is not making it tonight. So only Honey Badger to do it. Only Honey Badger to do it. And we've also got a new addition as well. You might have spotted him, 5 up within the lobby. Graham89i. Not sure who he is. I haven't heard of that name before. Well, we'll hope to see him do a good performance like we saw with Nino last week, because Nino was absolutely rapid last week.
Yeah, Nino got, I think, both of our driver of the day. Nino got that last time out because he really pulled off some stellar overtaking, and Nino really showed the kind of the racecraft and the overtaking skill of a veteran, really, in his first F2 race. So he really showed some great skills. So I expect to see big things from him today.
I honestly think, also with Graham joining, hopefully he's going to produce a good performance on his debut. He is in the other Carlin car, joining Brandon Glover in that car. So hopefully he's looking for some good points there. We are readying up, by the way. I'm not sure if drivers have got the memo of that we are readying up. I'm not sure if we are waiting for somebody else, but it looks like everyone's readying. And I mean, it's Italy. Think of this track as a boot. I always say it within every stream I do for Italy, think of the track like a boot, because it is pretty much a boot. You have got the Retafilial chicane through turns 1 and 2, then into turn 3, Curva Grande, the curve going up towards the Della Roggia chicane through 4 and 5, the 2 Lesmos 6 and 7, and then we down to Ascari through 8, 9 and 10, and then down into Parabolica in 11. See, I know the track off by heart.
Well, you would have done better than me, because I would have fumbled at the first corner. So.
It should be great, though. I think, honestly, we've got 17 drivers here. 17 drivers here, and I want to say what could possibly go wrong, but I don't want to sound like Jeremy Clarkson by doing that.
Yeah, you're going to curse the field, and we've said that a few times before, and then we've had wet features or wet sprint races, and some of them have gone horribly wrong. So, fingers crossed everything stays nice and clean and well functioning today, and I think if it's all dry, I think we're going to get some really good racing.
But we have got one-shot qualifying to spread out the field first, and with one-shot qualifying we should be looking around lap times of what, 1:28 I'm thinking?
Yeah, I'd say around maybe a 28 to 29, I'd probably say, around this track. I think the gap between F2 and F1 cars isn't too big around this track, because the chicanes and the low speed corners you have here don't really invoke as much understeer as you would get at other tracks like we had at Belgium last time out. And it's a wet qualifying, so never mind. Never mind. So
1:28 are now becoming 1:48, I think we're now saying.
Yeah, let's say that a lot further off than we were predicting, but F2 are loving wet weather at the moment.
Yeah, F2 always seems to come up trumps with the wet weather, and I mean it is totally and utterly crapping down of rain, if I can use that word rightly. It is absolutely horrible out on track. It is going to beg the question, though, if it's going to be a wet race as well, like these conditions, you're hardly going to see the car in front of you, 10 feet in front of you, never mind the car in front of you.
Yeah, and especially difficult on the first lap as well, going down into turn 1. We know how difficult the braking zone is in the dry anyway, so in the wet, that's going to be even more difficult to handle.
Are we going to go on board with our favourite Scotsman, I wonder? I'm just preparing to say it's MCR Venom, and it is MCR Venom! My God! How the luck is with us once again. He's already through Sector 3, apparently, and starting off on a lap. There we go. I had a glitch up saying he was 58 seconds in the Sector 3. I don't know what that was. Venom, though, coming down towards turn 1 at the Retafilial chicane, braking just before the 150-metre board. Of course, brake early, going down through turn 1 and 2. Venom well up there, and I've got to say his teammates well up there as well. Speedy Suarez, Toxic well up there. Honey Badger is already out of the session, as is Lewis. So Lewis not clearly enjoying the wet conditions along with Honey Badger. So Venom now through Curva Grande and then into the Della Roggia chicane through 4 and 5. 31.4 through the first sector for Venom. Very easy on the brakes as he now comes through that Della Roggia chicane. He's out on top currently. Toxic Nino could be an MP1-2 as actually Venom gets caught on the grass slightly there on the white line. Mason Shauna also out of the session. Venom though and Nino with Toxic in third as well. So the main protagonist well up there. Venom now through the second Lesmo and then on the run down towards Ascari. Graham is retired from the session. Quite a few retiring out of the session, actually. YWR Storm is also out of the session. Z-Freaks are out of the session. Vicmill out of the session. We've got half the field still going round. A 106 flat through the middle sector for Venom as he slides the car through Ascari, through 9, and then in towards turn 10. Looking very nice there. Nino, Blizzard beginning to get up there as well. And Blizzard, I think, has got a terrific run out of Ascari. Venom, though, still leading. Maybe about a tenth of a second between them, I think. Venom running up towards Parabolica. Brakes just off the 100-metre board. Don't want to be braking there, I think, just before the 100-metre board. Siege has suddenly popped up into third position as well. And then through Parabolica for the first time. Here, Venom, I think, is just about to get pole position. Is he? He does. Oh, and it's comfortable. 0.3 of a second. And only 7 have finished qualifying.
Wow. I mean, we were slow last time out. I think it was 9 in Spain, Spa, sorry, that we got finishing the session. Even less this time around. I think so many people got caught out in the wet weather in the braking for the first and third and the second chicane. They just hit the brakes and the car went straight on, and they went straight through the chicane. I think that's pretty much what everyone that disqualified their times pretty much did on their laps, which is why so many people ended up not setting a time, including championship protagonist Vicmill.
Yeah, Vicmill and Honey Badger as well, not setting the time. Venom on top from Blizzard in second, Siege in third, Nino in fourth, Toxic in fifth. Actually, 0.7 of a second between the top 5's not that bad at all. Ollie Flavel in sixth, Speedy Suarez in seventh, Threaks and Maze, Lewis, Brandon, Graham, Sean, Vicmill, Storm, Spike and Honey Badger, all either invalidating their laps with the disqualifications, or Z-Threaks and Maze, I think, clearly not liking the conditions that much and retiring quite early on in the session. Maybe playing to have that advantage because it's got them up in the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you retire without obviously disqualifying your lap time, the amount of people that we saw invalidating meant that they jumped up the field completely. So good strategy from them if that was a strategy.
Hallelujah! It's dry. It's dry. Oh. I can't believe it is dry. I was about to say, I was about to offer the best piece of advice possibly. Don't take your dry braking points. I'm going to reiterate that advice and turn my words around. Take your dry braking points.
I think obviously first lap wise it's going to be pretty difficult to try and judge, especially with the people around you. I was actually on board with Toxic for his lap, so the first half of Toxic's lap was actually pretty impressive. He pretty much nigh on got every single apex of the first half of the lap pretty much perfect, but as soon as he started braking for Ascari, he was too early on the brakes, and then he was the opposite in Parabolica and was too late on the brakes in Parabolica, and that just dropped him. That dropped him from what could have been probably a comfortable P2 slot on the grid to P5.
Yeah, P5, and it's very costly as well in the wet conditions around here. 15 laps await the drivers though out on track, and formation lap has just begun. Let's get all of the telemetry and the detail and everything like that up. And a bit of a mix-up in the strategies. We've got, first of all, the soft runners, and more importantly, I think, Speedy Suarez, Nino as well. Nino, Speedy Suarez, the Threakser. Sorry, I'll start again. Nino, the Threakser, Maze, Brandon Glover, Graham and Storm, YWR Storm, all on a set of soft compound of tyres. Oh, and there's a car off in the background. I think that was Suarez going off, if I'm not mistaken.
It was Nino actually as well. Nino had a massive moment. He held it somehow, which is incredible. But there you go. There's your save of the week. We get one every week. We get the save of the week. We've had it on the formation lap already. So.
But with those soft compound of tyres, with Nino especially being on the soft compound of tyres, he's going to be quicker in the early stages of the race. But for pit stops, it's going to be what, lap 6, lap 7? I'm thinking, maybe even before that.
I think the thing is, especially with Monza, is that tyre wear on this track isn't really an issue, so you can take those softs really long. I imagine you could probably take the softs to about maybe lap 8 or so and not really feel the effects of it. So I don't really imagine that there's going to be that much of a difference really between the two tyre compounds, especially with the tyre gap only being one tyre. In previous races we've seen it maybe be in the mediums and the super softs, or the hards and the softs. It's softs and mediums this time around, so there's not really going to be that much, I'd say, of a tyre advantage for the softs this time around.
Yeah, and just to confirm with the medium runners as well, we've got the top 3, Venom, Blizzard and Siege, Toxic, Ollie Flavel and Suarez all on a set of mediums, Lewis in 10th on a set of mediums, Sean, Vicmill, Spike and Honey Badger. Out to the pick on the mediums, who are you most looking forward to seeing make their way through the field? I've got my eyes on Vicmill and Honey Badger personally.
Yeah, that's who I was probably going to say actually, and I'd say Spike as well. I think Spike is going to be another one to watch out for. He's kind of flown under the radar this season. He's had a couple wins, but he's just been unfortunate and been caught in some incidents as well. But I think it's a good race from Spike as well today.
Well, top 3 beckons. Who's your top 3 at the Temple of Speed?
At the Temple of Speed, I think we're going to see Venom pick up a win today. I think it's kind of been long overdue, really.
Oh.
I think second we'll go for Blizzard, and third I think we'll see Toxic third.
Mates has had a disconnection on the grid. His car will go ahead of the others, I think. Normally what happens when the driver leaves anyways, but the 5 red lights are about to go out. We should see Maze's car go about now. No, we won't. He's going to start right with them. Lights out and away we go. Venom and Blizzard get a very good start. Siege as well. Nino on the fresher compound of tyres looking for P2 already. He's going to try and find his way through like the parting of the Red Sea down towards turn 1 at the Retafilio chicane. And it's Venom who leads. Nino's trying to go all the way around the outside of Blizzard. He's got the inside line. Trying to get the move done there, but not quite. Blizzard is still through in second. There's been a little bit of contact in the background. Oh, and there's a spinner as well. That's Nino that's round. And I think he might have just tried to go the inside of Blizzard possibly there, unless he's just lost it on the curb. And there's all sorts of carnage in the background. Graham, Honey Badger, Nino, Z, Freaks are all caught up in that. What happened behind?
I think Graham was trying to move out the way of Nino, who was coming back onto the track, and as he moved out the way, he just got caught by Honey Badger. How Honey Badger got away with that with no damage, I will never know, but he's now down at the back of the field, unfortunately.
We've just seen a mistake from Siege as well, dipping 2 wheels into the gravel on the exit of the Della Roggia chicane, and he loses P4 to Ollie Flavel. And look at Lewis on the back of Speedy Suarez as well. The Universality and the BWT on the better go side by side down towards Ascari, who has got the pace down towards Ascari. It looks like it's going to be Speedy Suarez for now, but Lewis, I imagine, is going to be a bit pacier than the guys ahead. The Universality just cutting over the curb, doesn't want to do that too often. He'll pick up a 3-second time penalty, and he don't want to do what Brandon Glover's done either and run massively wide through Ascari. The medium runners up in the top 8 early on. Everyone on the set of soft compound of tyres has either been caught up in an incident, or they've just made mistakes out on track. Mediums clearly the tyres to be on possibly.
At the moment, yeah, Brandon's the only one really that kind of escaped without being involved in something, as well as YWR Storm, but he's dropped off the back of the grid in front of him at this point as well, which is unfortunate for him. Vic Mill though, brilliant start for the
Toxic down the inside, sorry to cut in. Toxic's down the inside of Blizzard, trying to get the move done through the Retafilio chicane. He's on the outside of the corner. He could get this, you know, he's going to be on the inside through Curva Grande, and I think Toxic might have this. The Campos man outperforming, a bit of wheel banging even through Curva Grande, and they're still going at it through Curva Grande. Toxic and Blizzard side by side down towards the Della Roggia chicane, and Toxic has got the move done. Fantastic racing between them both, or has he? Blizzard's got the switch back, and that is how you judge that corner to perfection. Blizzard is through, but all of this is letting Venom escape off the road by nearly 2 seconds.
Yeah, this is great to see though, the top 2 in the championship fighting for position. They were really going at it. Lap 2, they were banging wheels all the way through the chicane and all the way through Curva Grande. Great to see. I think Toxic at the moment looks the faster of the 2, so it's just going to have to wait for DRS to be enabled, and then it looks like it's going to be a pretty easy move for the Campos driver.
Yeah, the Campos man on the back of the Trident, and of course this matters as well for the Constructors' Championship. See, Freakser has had a moment out of the second Lesmo, and Vic Mill, yeah, he's right on the back of BWT, his BWT Arden teammate, and Sean's got Brandon Glover as well.
Yeah, Brandon Glover had a half spin on the exit of Ascari. He just managed to save it, but that's put Sean through. Yeah, Vic Mill's absolutely fine. Oh, Siege is round.
Oh!
I think he got away with it, but I think there was a bit of contact with Lewis there. I think Lewis thought about a move into the Parabolica, and it was kind of half-hearted and didn't really go for it. But this has put Vic Mill on the back of Lewis now. Is Vic Mill going to go to P5 already?
Surely not. He's down on the inside, possibly to go to the outside line through into the Della Roggia, the Retafilio chicane, I should say. Getting mixed up with my chicanes there. Vic Mill, and look at who is this coming down the inside. Brandon Glover going down the inside of Sean in the background. Fantastic move as well. And Vic Mill's got Lewis, has he? Oh no!
Yeah, Vic Mill got him, but I think Lewis had a little bit of poor traction and just kind of slid into the side of Vic Mill, but Vic Mill got the move. There was yeah, and Suarez as well on his teammate, but his teammate backs out. Vic Mill's up to 5th already. What an incredible start he's had.
See, just down the inside of Lewis, gets the move done, and Sean trying to fight Brandon Glover. All sorts of carnage happening. Looks like there's a bit of front wing end plate maybe on the inside of the chicane there. Venom though leads, but look at Blizzard, and actually Blizzard is dragging along Toxic at this stage as well, so the top 3 are about to battle big time here.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, Blizzard definitely looking a lot more confident than Venom now, and obviously Toxic being dragged along. This is going to form a little bit of a train, but can Blizzard clear Venom before he gets up, before he's under attack from his championship rival? And Vicmil, you can't count him out. Vicmil's absolutely flying, and he's already catching Ollie Flabber for fourth.
Lewis has lost it. Oh my God, what a save! What a save that is by Lewis. Got caught on the inside curve. I was just about to say he's going for the overtake on Siege, but just moments literally split between that. Lewis nearly spun it, but what a save that is. Takes commitment to save a car like that, and Lewis has certainly done the trick. Oh my God, heart in mouth moment for him there.
I just noticed something as well. The BWT Ardents, obviously they're not out of the championship running for manufacturers. They are in a really good position at this moment. Campos are only third and their other drivers 10th, and at the moment Trident are second and 13th. BWT Ardent are doing pretty well at the moment. Suarez is kind of being dragged along by his teammate, and they're all catching Ollie Flavel at this point, so look out for them in the manufacturers race.
Campos outscoring Trident as well. Oh, well, yeah. I've just said that, and Sean's just dropped down past 5.
Just as you say that, yeah, Spike makes way through. Sean's looking back at him, but Sean doesn't go for the move. Spike working his way back through after, I think Spike just managed to...
Ollie Flavel's round! Ollie Flavel's round! That's through the Delaroche chicane. I think he might have got caught on the outside curb, and he spun the car. I think there's end plate damage on that car as well. Right side end plate to Ollie Flavel's car. Just caught on board with that late. Blizzard, by the way, on the back of Venom for the lead of the race. Is he going to go for the move down into Ascari? No, he doesn't.
Venom locks up. Now, Venom locks up though, and he's really wide.
We might get the run off. Oh, Venom! Oh my God!
My word! Well held. Blizzard backs off because he wants the DRS down the pit straight, but wow, well held from Venom.
Toxic gets a good run here. He might be right on the back of them going down towards turn 1.
My word. Blizzard almost pushing Venom through the Parabolica. He's so much faster at this point.
Lewis is down the inside of Siege and towards Parabolica, gets the move done. Lewis sails up the inside of Siege. I think he might have slight end plate damage, but here we go. Venom and Blizzard. Toxic just in behind as well. This is for the championship lead pretty much. Blizzard leading the race now. Venom, Toxic, very late on the brakes, trying to close up, but not going to be close enough. Blizzard takes the lead of the race, and Siege is trying to take back on Lewis, but Lewis just shuts the door completely, and Sean is on the back of Spike as well, not going to get the move done. And actually, with Ollie Flavel's spin, Campos now is scoring Prada once again.
Sorry, Lewis has spun on traction once again. He spins, and he's actually hit the wall this time. He wasn't able to get away with it, so that's a real shame for Lewis. Ollie is unfortunately retired in the pit lane. Toxic as well picks up his first time penalty.
Oh, Toxic picking up a time penalty. That was through the Delaroche chicane. Yeah, Ollie Flavel out of the race. Honey Badger has now got the move done on Lewis. Obviously, with that spin, Siege is on the back of Speedy Suarez. And I've got to be honest, Speedy Suarez has done a remarkable race in 5th.
Yeah, he's doing really well. He was being dragged along by his teammate. Vicmil's kind of now in a race on his own once again. But Suarez really holding his own against Siege at the moment. Meanwhile, Blizzard has not dropped Venom, so Venom's still within striking distance, especially if Blizzard makes some sort of error, but at this point, I mean, he is definitely close enough. Venom's definitely close enough to make a move down into turn 1 if he gets Parabolica right.
Venom seems to me as if he might be quicker the top 3 in the slipstream, but in terms of overall pace, I think I would give it to probably Blizzard at this stage of the race, because Toxic's just dropped off by about 2 tenths.
I'd probably say Blizzard's the fastest of the 3 of them, but I think Venom's got an incredibly good straight line speed in that car. Let's see how close he's able to get into turn 1. He's not actually gaining that much as I say that. He's already in the top range of 6th gear, and he's just not confident enough on the brakes to make the move on Blizzard, so Venom stays in P2 for the time being.
Yeah, Venom hitting the rev limiter there, nearly 9,000 RPM given by the car. Oh, Blizzard! Nearly lost it. You might have just saw that from Venom's POV. Goodness me, Venom. Now to the inside line. He's going to think about this. Not round the outside of Delaroche. Oh. He thought about it, but it's not going to go. And Toxic right on the back as well. Blizzard sticks his wheel into the gravel. Oh, causes Venom nearly to go off track. And now Toxic's in play. Top 3. Oh, everyone's making a mistake. And this is why they're staying so consistent and so close to each other.
Yeah, Venom actually wanted to make the move on Blizzard, but I think got caught up by the fact that Blizzard knew that he was in the gravel and then moved quickly to the inside to try to defend the line. And Venom had to back out of it and nearly lost the car in the process. Is he going to go for the move at Ascari? Or is he actually going to lag through Blizzard? But
Toxic, my God! I was looking at that from Toxic's perspective, and Toxic just nearly ran into the back of Venom under the brakes. That's a remarkable stuff. Speedy Suarez ran the outside of Siege. Great defensive move by Suarez to get the move done. And Venom's on the back of Blizzard as well. I don't know where to turn in this race. It's phenomenal stuff.
Really, really good stuff. I think Suarez, look, I think he's trying to back off to try and let Siege through for the DRS, but Siege is having none of it.
Yeah.
And that's compromised Speedy Suarez's line through the Parabolica. Yeah, Siege is going to get this move done pretty easily. Meanwhile, Venom for the race lead.
Here comes Venom. Toxic as well, just running in behind. Could get a good double toe, but he's not going to be close enough. Venom around the outside. Into the Retafilio chicane. Oh, and just shuts the door on him. And that is a perfection move there from Venom. I think Blizzard was just going to let him through, but the precision to pull off that move was phenomenal. But it might not be done just yet, because Blizzard is now on the back of him running through Curva Grande. Toxic chasing in vain as well. Blizzard down the inside line. He's going to wait for the DRS, and Venom holds the lead of the race. But that was phenomenal stuff, and Blizzard 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, this puts Venom in the box seat at the moment. Both the people behind him have a time penalty. Bitno at the moment not close enough to capitalise on these, but this has put Venom in the box seat if he's able to keep it on track.
Venom currently holding the lead of the race. He joined us pretty much halfway through now in Italy. This is the feature race, sprint race. Normally more crazier than this is still to come. Whatever are Storm, by the way, had a moment earlier on in the race, and that was through the final corner, I think, of Parabolica. Venom having a lock up. Blizzard trying to look around the outside.
Ooh. Blizzard is so much more confident mid-corner. He's just got so much mid-corner speed. He tried. He thought about it, but there's just obviously no room to overtake an Ascari. But look at him down the back straight, trying to push Venom into Parabolica.
It's like they're thinking this is IndyCar or NASCAR or something like this. Blizzard right on the back of Venom. Toxic is not out of this either. And to be honest, he's got a phenomenal run out of Parabolica. He could. Are we going to see 3 wide? Am I dreaming of that? I think I am dreaming of that. Blizzard.
It's not quite close enough.
So the outside line. Yeah, Venom's going to switch back in. And Toxic down the inside line of Venom. Breaking race. Oh my goodness me. Venom just about holds on. How on earth they didn't make contact? Oh, Blizzard has a little bit of a mistake coming out of the Retafilio chicane through turn 2. And just caught on the grass slightly. It's now Venom and Toxic chasing Blizzard once again. 4/10 of a second, 5/10 of a second.
That's so late from Toxic.
Toxic down the inside line. How has he got that one done?
Wow. Really good stuff from Toxic. He was I think he was actually caught out by how late on the brakes he was. I don't think he realised that he was actually going to be that late on the brakes and just made it into an overtaking manoeuvre. Brilliant stuff from Toxic, but this has put him out of DRS range of Blizzard. So this little battle that he had, it was kind of better for Toxic to just kind of sit and wait really, but this has now put him under pressure from Venom again, and he's not close enough to Blizzard to have DRS.
Toxic actually quicker in a straight line, I think, in terms of setup. Just closing down slightly on Blizzy. He's back within DRS range. Now 8.5 tenths. Venom has had a slight moment out of Ascari, I think, and has now dropped 5 tenths off. In the meantime, Siege got past Suarez and all of that craziness for the top 3. Blizzard, Toxic and Venom. We should see the first pit stops, though, happen around about now, because we've already seen some of the soft runners pit in.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably around, I think probably lap 9 is when you're going to see the first people in. I'd say the top 3 haven't come in yet. Just a note as well, Honey Badger, a really good recovery for him despite being facing the wrong way on the exit of the first corner on the first lap. He's worked his way back up into 9th and he's in with a shot of the first good pole, so he's doing a brilliant job so far.
Why do we are Storm having a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting at turn 1 there? And he's just ahead of these guys as well, so could play a little bit of a factor in terms of back markers. Could put Blizzard off possibly, especially if they're close inside of each other.
It could definitely, but it could also give Blizzard DRS in helping him defend. So it could work either way, really, for Blizzard. It's kind of a pot lock and see really when he gets there. But obviously these guys might pit before they reach Storm. Blizzard
6 tenths in front. I'm Toxic in second, Venom in third. We should see the pit stops happen. To be honest, I would have gambled. If I was in third, I would have gambled trying to go undercut on a set of soft compound of tyres. Gain a second, you'll be in the lead of the race, surely.
Surely, I think so, yeah. And I think the undercut here is actually more powerful than a lot of people think. I think this track there's a lot of traction zones on this track, which is where you gain a lot of time, especially on fresh tyres. So I think a lot of people don't really know. Oh, Blizzard! My word! What a moment he had. I will say, Blizzard is very fast, but today is all over the place.
I was just having a ride on board as well with Honey Badger. He's about to get the move done on Sean. And should say the top 3 going into Parabolica, but Honey Badger has got the move done on Sean, and Lewis is through on Maze as well. Venom to the inside line through Parabolica. Anybody coming into the pits? Yes,
Toxic
Venom is, and that is what he needs to do. Venom is into the pits. I think that's the right call.
Yeah, Toxic thought about coming in. I think he faked to try and stop Venom from coming in, and Venom came in the end. So Yeah, let's see what he can do with the undercut. Toxic, meanwhile, was just running on board with him down the pit straight. He decided not to go for the overtake of Blizzard. He's turned his DRS off and just stayed behind. I think he's trying to just keep with Blizzard and not lose too much time battling, otherwise Venom will come out in front of the pair of them.
He was reaching 9,000 RPM halfway down the straight as well, so that was a big factor to take in. Toxic very late on the brakes again. I was going to say maybe a bit too late. I thought he was going to pick up a time penalty again, but Toxic doing a good job out on track, and we see him in pursuit of that trotting car ahead. In the meantime, Honey Badger and Sean are side by side through Curva Grande. Honey Badger's going around the outside of Sean into the Della Roger chicane and gets the move done. So Honey Badger's through and he's up into 6th position. Venom, by the way, out in perfectly clear air. The gap between them, 35 seconds pretty much. So note that in right now. 35 seconds the gap. And if you're setting a 130.9, like Lewis has done, then I think advantage Venom.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, I think you can definitely tell as well, on board with Toxic, you can see he's faster than Blizzard, but he doesn't want to battle Blizzard and lose any time battling him. So he's kind of in between a rock and a hard place at the moment. Is he going to come in the same time as Blizzard? He is, yeah.
I thought Toxic was going to overtake him going into the pit lane.
I think Toxic thought about that as well, because Blizzard was pretty cautious on the brakes coming into the pit lane so that he wouldn't speed. And I think Toxic thought about trying to overtake him. Will Toxic get him on a pass in the pit lane? Maybe. Obviously, he's the first car in the pits, but he's going to get held by Vic Mill.
Held up by Vic Mill, perfect for Blizzard, and that's about a second and a half. I make it. Venom, by the way, is coming out the final corner. This is going to be quite close, you know, with the overcut. And Blizzard exits the pit lane now. Venom coming past the start, finish straight. No, he's actually exiting the pit lane now. This is going to be even closer. I think Venom's going to have the overcut, you know. Is he? He's not going to have it on Blizzard, but definitely... Oh, is he? Actually, he could go for this down towards turn 1. He's on the outside. Venom are late on the brakes, trying to pull it off. Down the inside, bit of overcommitment. He wants it so much, but he wanted it too much, and Blizzard takes the lead of the race.
Wow, brilliant stuff. Venom was so close to taking that
Brandon Glover as well in the background. Goodness me, sorry to cut in, but Brandon Glover's gone down the inside of Vic Mill, down in towards turn 1, and Vic Mill's now being called out by an overcut from Brandon Glover.
Wow. Brandon Glover came into the pit so early. I think we completely missed it. That's how early he came into the pit lane. Obviously, he's on the harder tyres at this point in the race, so he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck for a Vic Mill, and maybe Speedy Suarez as well at this point, and Siege. Suarez, meanwhile, has actually got back past Siege somewhere. We've completely missed that, but Suarez has retaken that place. So Suarez is really coming alive in this race.
Suarez has actually undercut Siege within the pits, I think.
Ah, fair enough.
Because he's on a lap old softs.
He is, yeah, but he's got a bit of a poor exit though out of the second Lesmo. So he's just
running all over the back.
Here comes Vic. I think here comes Vic Mill on Brandon Glover as well. Vic Mill all the way around the outside in the braking, so brilliant stuff.
On a set of soft compound of tyres, Siege as well has got the move done on Suarez. Sean is into the bit from the lead of the race. What's happened?
My word, just on board with Toxic. He was so late on the brakes in Parabolica. He ran into the back of Venom. How Venom didn't spin and Toxic didn't pick up damage, I will never know. They are so lucky to get away with that. But Toxic's just so committed on the brakes in this race. It's kind of catching him out.
It is catching him out, and he's 1.2 seconds behind now of the leader out on track. Fastest lap, by the way, is still Lewis, but you should see that fastest lap time come down. And remember, the fastest lap point is available out on track. Sean, by the way, is going to rejoin maybe behind Honey Badger, and he will. Sean will join in behind Honey Badger out on track. And I have a feeling, actually, he might have just let him through, so I didn't see that car move coming out the pit lane on the mini-map, but I might be wrong.
He may have done, yeah. Just another thing to note as well, Siege and Suarez are still battling. This is bringing Spike into play. Spike's currently 8th and on reverse grid pole, but he's in for
One of your Storm is out of the race. Did I just lag there, by the way?
I'm not quite sure. I think Z3 retired at the first corner. I'm not quite sure.
Oh yeah, Z3.
I don't know if there was contact with someone because
he's... Toxic down the inside of Venom! Oh, what a move! Can he get it off? Oh, no, he can't.
No,
3-second time penalty. But he gets the move done.
I think it's a little bit over-ambitious, though. Again, too late on the brakes, in my opinion. And that's going to cost them even more time.
They're bumping wheels down towards Parabolica. They don't want to overcommit it, and they don't want to overcommit it like that and nearly make contact. Venom's around the outside of Toxic, and I think that caught Toxic out, and again contact between them both, and again contact, and that is not great at all. Why on earth would you make a banging wheel contact coming halfway through the exit of Parabolica? I do not know, and that is so Toxic out of the race. One too many, I think.
And I want to put this in as well. I think that's Toxic out of the championship with that one.
Yeah, he's DNFing out of the race.
Vic Mills ahead of him. Vic Mills on the podium once again. Will this man ever not finish on the podium?
Ooh.
But yeah, I think that's him out of the championship running now.
Suarez very close to the back of Siege, nearly went into the back of him there, but Toxic now pretty much out of the championship running, and with, who's in third in the championship? Spike?
It's Vic Mill third
Vic
in the championship.
So Vic will be gaining on Toxic then. I'm not sure if it'll be enough to overtake him in terms of points.
It's only 5 points between them. Vic Mill's going to take second in the championship after this one.
So now, what you could expect is Blizzard could take the championship, possibly.
Blizzard's championship lead is going to extend by 15 points by the end of this race. It's going to be a massive gain for Blizzard. So this is his championship pretty much. This is the race that he needed. It's pretty much sewn up, and he had a 3-second time penalty, obviously, but that battling between Venom and Toxic has put Venom over 3 seconds back, so Venom's race to win has eluded him.
Suarez.
Unless he can bring that time back.
Yeah, Suarez pulling away from Spike, just on board with Spike, he's currently in 7th. We're about to start, or we have just started the penultimate lap of the race for the leaders. Blizzard leading, Venom in 2nd, but I don't know about the exit of Parabolica. But make banging wheel contact through there. I mean, come on, they know better.
It's very bizarre, and I think as well, on board with Toxic, Toxic has been good in this race, but that's maybe the 3rd or 4th time that Toxic has again just been too late on the brakes and has had to turn it into an overtaking move when he didn't need to. He's just outbraked himself a number of times in this race.
Here comes Spike!
Meanwhile, Spike, yeah.
Nearly getting the switch back.
Yeah, I was on board with Honey Badger. I think Spike tried to get that switch back, but Honey Badger was there, so he couldn't actually do it. But here comes Spike down into the chicane.
Toxic has left the session, in fact. I'm not sure if he'll come back for the sprint race. He may as well try and fight for 2nd in the championship and not give up. Honey Badger going to get the switch back on Spike. Not quite, and Spike just slams the door shut. In fact, I think Spike made a mistake. Just slammed the door shut on Honey Badger, saying, "You're not coming through, mate," and Honey Badger's had to give way.
Yeah, that's really aggressive defending from Spike.
But Honey Badger's messed up.
Yeah, so this is Spike's opportunity now. He's definitely got this move down on speed as well. Look at the straight line speed of that. You know, if I try to say, Suarez was trying to take the race in line, and Spike didn't really know which way to go, so he had to back out of it almost, but Suarez is still there. They thought about going side by side, but not quite able to do it. Here comes Honey Badger now as well. Is he going to try for the move for Parabolica? I think he is.
I don't think he will. I think he'll stand behind and go for the DRS, to be honest. Yeah, he will.
Maybe.
And Suarez is down the inside. Oh my god almighty, that's inches apart from contact.
Oh, take a breath, that was so close.
And we're still going to get a 3-way battle down towards turn 1 between Spike, Suarez and Honey Badger. And Honey Badger, in fact, weaves, and it's weaving maybe for reverse grip pull. If he wants to stay as he is, he's going to get reverse grip pull, which will be great, I think. Suarez trying to go around the outside of Spike into turn 1. Not quite. He messes up, and Honey Badger's going to get the switch back. No, he won't. Suarez just about having the traction on the outside of the corner, gripping in nicely there, the BWT on, nearly making side-by-side contact. But I tell you what, Honey Badger can juke back in here, and he's nearly onto the grass, and he's down the inside line. Can he get the move done into the Delaroche chicane? He'll switch it back. That's his move done. Beautiful reading the scenario. And Siege is right on the back of Brandon Glover. Sorry to cut in.
Oh, he thought about it.
No.
You really thought about it. This is a really... Oh, Blizzard, 2nd time penalty.
3-second time penalty.
Has Venom picked one up?
It's actually going to be enough, I think. I think it's enough for Blizzard to win.
No, it's enough for Venom to win. Venom doesn't have a penalty. Blizzard has 2 penalties.
It's a 3-second... It's a 3-second buffer, remember, though.
It'll be 6 seconds with 2 time penalties for Blizzard.
Blizzard across the line to win. I'm very certain it's going to be a 7/10 gap. Venom across the line. Oh, it's 2.2 seconds, you're right.
Yeah, Venom wins.
Brandon Glover and Siege side by side through Parabolica. Siege is not going to do this around the outside it's going to be a drag race to the line. Who's going to get 4th? Brandon Glover or Siege? It's Brandon Glover just about sieged. He knew he stayed in behind. Had a 3-second time penalty. Suarez up to 6th, Spike 7th. Honey Badger in the end in 8th. Reverse grid pole possibly for him if penalties don't go his way. Sean in 9th. Lewis has recovered well into 10th as well.
Yeah, good recovery from Lewis to come back into the points, especially, and for Honey Badger as well to be facing the wrong way at the end of the first lap. He's now on reverse grid pole, so great recovery from Honey Badger. Just shows that you should never give up in these races, that there's always something to fight for. Yeah,
mates rejoining the session as well. Got to come up on that. He's just finished ahead of Nino for 11th position. Nino in 12th. Graham, our debutant, not really gone his way at all. He's going to try and go for the fastest lap of the race. In fact, he won't because it's the final lap of the race and he's just been into the pit lane. So Graham now is going to finish for a lonely P13. But what a race that was!
Yeah, that was definitely an adventurous race. There was a lot of overtaking and didn't really know where to look.
Can I use the word humdinger by any chance?
Yeah, that's a good shout. Another thing I was gonna say before, obviously that whole battle ensued at the end of the race. But Brandon Glover, great recovery from him. He started way down the field on the soft tyres. Obviously that soft to medium strategy was not the preferred one, and he ended up 4th. So great recovery for Brandon.
Fantastic recovery from Brandon Glover. It comes to show the undercut does work around here in Italy. Just having a look on the comments as well. Honey Badger saying he pressed the wrong pedal in towards turn 1, which was why he disqualified from the session. So yeah, brake pedal forgetting to press. Otherwise you didn't make turn 1, I think. That's plain old English. May is saying love an error code. Love an error code. And Meg Ryan as well has joined in from League of Europe. Good evening to him. Hope he's doing well. But it is that man again, Venom, this time taking the win from Blizzard in 2nd and in 3rd position when the XP goes off my screen. And yes, I've just been awarded 2,500 XP for that. I don't know how. Vic Mill for 3rd. And from 14th on the grid, he might get drive of the race.
Yeah, he had a brilliant first half of the race. He was a bit kind of on his own in the second half, but he definitely earned that.
Oh, dear with me. Venom takes the win from Blizzard in 2nd. Vic Mill finishing in 3rd. Brandon Glover in 4th. Siege in 5th. Suarez in 6th. Spike in 7th. Venom in 8th. Honey Badger in 8th. Not Venom in 8th. He takes reverse grid pole. Sean in 9th. Lewis in 10th. Mays in 11th. Nino 12th. Graham 13th. Wannabe Raw Storm kept on going in 14th as well. And everyone else, unfortunately, DNF'd out of the race. Toxic, I don't think, has rejoined back. I think...
Not by the looks of things, no.
I think possibly he could have tried to go on for the sprint race and try and pick up, 15 points for 1st. If Vic Mill has a bad race, it's back open for 2nd.
Yeah, even if Blizzard has a bad race, it's still back open. But yeah, I think he was probably frustrated after the events of the last one. But with him leaving the session, that's championship over.
I can understand the frustration, mind. I can honestly understand the frustration that he is probably produced and probably is a bit angry probably in himself. But he's got to think there's still 2 races to go. Come back refresh next week and see how it goes. Because I think he can still get 2nd in the championship if Vic Mill has a very poor race.
Even if Vic Mill has a good race, we know Toxic has the pace to go out in the lead and dominate a race. We know he has that pace. We've seen it already so far this season. So people of it, this part of the season just really hasn't gone his way.
11 drivers out on track. We've got 16 drivers here, barring Toxic, of course, and it is overcast. Obviously, everyone going to be on a set of medium tyres coming into this race and the sprint race. Well, if it's anything to go by from the feature race, we should see chaos, carnage, and some great overtaking on lap 1. And that's just lap 1.
Absolutely, yeah. Hopefully chaos. Hopefully not carnage. We don't want that one, but. I'll take some chaos. We've had some chaotic races so far this season that have been absolutely brilliant. So hopefully we have more of the same.
Hopefully we will. And obviously everyone being on the medium compound of tyres, 11 lap on the set of mediums probably will be I'm thinking between 36 and 40% tyre wear by the end of this race.
Yeah, I'd actually probably say maybe leaving a little bit more than that. I'd probably say maybe closer to about 50% for these tyres. But the tyre performance drop-off instead of the actual tyre wear, the performance drop-off in these tyres isn't really that big. So you're not really going to see people struggling, I'd say, in this race for tyre grip. And for pace at the end of the race on warm tyres.
Sorry, I'm just having a look at a invite that I've been given for my interview next week. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm candidate 10 apparently.
Ah, brilliant.
Fantastic. Anyways, right, back to the action. Excuse my personal life there. Yes, I have got a job interview, by the way. Blizzard has already spun on this formation map. So,
Maybe I hope that's not a bad omen for his race, but
probably,
it's definitely the way you want to start it off.
Hopefully it's just the traditional, oh, I want to spin on the formation map to get it out of the way sort of approach. I think that's what he's done there, to be honest. 11 laps though await the drivers. Who's your top 3?
I think we're going to see Honey Badger win the sprint race. I think second, I'm going to go for Siege in second. Meanwhile, Honey Badger's actually just spun as we say that. He's just spun out the Parabolica, so there goes another one. So yeah, Honey Badger, Siege, and then I think third, I think we'll go for Blizzard in third.
Interesting. So remind me of the top 3.
Honey Badger, Siege, Blizzard.
I'm going to go Blizzard, Vicmill, Honey Badger.
Okay.
I don't know why. I honestly think Ollie Flavel will have a good race right from the back as well. I think he might do quite well.
And look out for Nino as well. I think he's going to be one to look out for in this race as well.
Nino, Lewis, Venom, watch out for them all. Aiden, take it away.
Okay, here we go then. We'll just wait for the lights to go on ahead of the drivers. Here they come then. Who's going to get the best start out of the people on the front of the grid? 5 lights are on. And off the line, Honey Badger didn't react as quickly as Spike did. Spike gets a much better start. He's going to go past Honey Badger into turn 1. Yeah, Honey Badger didn't get the reaction. Siege got a brilliant reaction off the line as well. He's past Suarez. Here comes Brandon Glover to the outside as well. Suarez a little bit late on the brakes, but Spike already clear of Honey Badger into turn 1, so great start from him. There was a little bit of contact there between Siege and Brandon Glover. Brandon Glover's actually gone round, I think. He has, yeah. So he's fallen to the back of the field. Unfortunately, that's a shame for him. Bitmill and Blizzard were side by side, but they just got away with it. Actually, it's Lewis and Blizzard now that are side by side. Lewis trying to go up the inside of the Curva Grande next for the next chicane. Does he have confidence on the brakes to go around the outside? He thinks about it. He's definitely similar. Oh, he thought about it, not quite. There's contact in the background though. Was that Nino? I think that went off. Oh, both of them maybe come to contact. Yeah, Nino's got away with it with no damage, I think. He looks okay for my end. Ollie Flavel's up to 11th. He's had a brilliant start. He's looking at the leaders though. Honey Badger though is regrouped after his poor start. He's already all over the back of Spike once again. They've dropped Siege already by a second, so he needs to make up some ground on the top 2 if he's going to want to fight for the lead. But look at Honey Badger's got brilliant straight line speed in that ART compared to Spike. We see that quite often though. We see that Spike runs a little bit of a higher downforce setup because he just gets more confidence from it. Let's see what Honey Badger can do. Look at him all over the back. He's got so much more confidence through Ascari. Obviously no DRS yet. He's not going to go for moving parabolic, I don't think. He's going to wait for the turn 1. Blizzard and Vicmiller side by side. Blizzard's actually going to make the move stick, so Blizzard's already up to P5. Great stuff from him. Let's see Honey Badger then. Spike a little bit wide on the exit Parabolica, but Honey Badger just about... He's going to sit with him, but I'm not quite sure. Is he close enough? He might be. Look at the straight line speed, even without DRS. Honey Badger's got brilliant straight line speed in that ART. To go for move at turn 1. Spike's not defending it. Here comes Honey Badger. But Spike much later on the brakes. Wow, much later on the brakes to Spike. He just about gets the stop for turn 1. And just holds on to the lead and parks the bus. Oh, as I say that, Spike a massive moment. And Honey Badger had to react to it. There's a spinner in the background.
Maze.
I think that might be Maze, yeah.
Oh, there's carnage in the background as well. Why didn't you have Storm caught up in that?
Oh.
Brandon Glover caught up in that? I think that might have been failing the ghosting system, to be honest.
Yeah, I think C3 Brixton was caught in that as well. Mace actually left the session. Venom and Lewis are side by side. Doesn't get the move stuck though. Suarez is doing a brilliant job for his teammate, but here comes Blizzard down the inside. Suarez slams the door. Doesn't let Blizzard through. But he's a little bit wide on the exit, but Blizzard not close enough. Siege at the moment as well, not really able to pull away from Suarez. Blizzard's not got the DRS yet, obviously, but Suarez is going to have the straight line speed behind Siege. Is he going to be able to defend the place? He's not moving to the inside, but Blizzard thinks about it, but isn't close enough to make the move stick, so Blizzard stays in P5.
Suarez very close.
Yeah. I was going to say, he took a lot of Apex curve on the inside.
Oh,
but...
Venom down the inside of Ascari. Oh. Fantastic move. Oh, Lewis side by side through Ascari. They were pretty much through there. And how on earth?
And he's done it again. Blizzard around the outside of another Arden into the Parabolica. So Blizzard's up to P4 already.
So Blizzard up to P4. Just to come back on what we were saying there, Venom and Lewis. They were both having, well, pretty much going side by side through Ascari on the run through and indeed between and at the end of Ascari as well, and that is why we saw them make contact slightly. I think, to be honest, no one at fault. Vicmil, my God, late on the brakes. Jesus, nearly went into the back of his teammate there. Oh my God.
Oh my word. Yeah, these two, the Ardens really don't want to crash together. The Ardens are doing pretty well manufacturers-wise in these last two races. They want to keep it that way in this one as well, so they've got to keep going. But obviously, apart from the carnage at the start of the second lap, it was a relatively tame first lap for sprint race standards.
Yes, probably one of the best.
Oh, Siege! I was just about to say that. Sorry to cut in. Siege had a massive moment on the exit of the chicane. Blizzard's up to third already.
Lewis is on the back of Venom as well, trying to get the move done. But yeah, Blizzard is through, and he's up to third. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. It's Ollie Flavel, who's been caught up in an incident with Brandon Glover. So both of them have been caught up in an incident, maybe going side by side, or Ollie Flavel spun and collected Brandon Glover perhaps. I think one of those two scenarios might have sufficed. Lewis in the meantime, trying to go around the outside of Ascari. Venom was trying to go around the outside of Ascari. Oh, and he switches it back, and beautiful from Lewis.
Oh my word, as I said, that was so much curb. He nearly completely lost the car. There comes Venom once again, coming back down some Parabolica. But is this going to give Lewis DRS? It will do. Down into the corner. They were pretty close actually. I'm not quite sure which one of them is going to get DRS. Just noticing something though, Spike is starting to gap Honey Badger ever so slightly. Spike looking a little bit more comfortable. Blizzard though, definitely the fastest of the top three at the moment.
Here comes Venom on the back of Lewis. YWR Storm has DNF'd out of the race and has left the session. Venom not opting to go DRS, which is quite interestingly. Looked like he was going to get the move done, but Lewis has overcommitted slightly in towards turn 1. Could go switchback, and that's why he waited, because he went switchback. He knew Lewis didn't have the correction, didn't have the corner and the traction out of turn 1, and that is job done for Venom, and he's up to 7th. I think well played there by Venom. He knew Lewis had a weak point through turn 1. We saw it in the feature race. He must have realised that and thought, I'm going to just have you at the outside of turn 1 if you lose it. And Venom has done that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was well read from Venom. He's going to be back on the back of Speedy Suarez pretty quickly. I think Suarez actually just let Vicmil, his teammate, through. So that's going to let Vicmil...
Oh, Venom's round! Venom's round through first Lesmo. I think he might have lost it on the outside curb if I'm not mistaken. Didn't quite see what happened. But Venom is round and luckily no end plate damage.
Oh, Ollie Flavel's in the wall as well. Ollie Flavel does exactly the same thing, but isn't as lucky as Venom. He hits the wall. That's Ollie Flavel out of the race. What a disastrous race this has been for Ollie Flavel.
Disastrous 2 races for Ollie Flavel, unfortunately. Hopefully the Jersey man will come back next week. I'm sure I'll give him a nice little boost up of a message later on Twitter. So how about that? Make him happier a little bit. Nino on the back though, Aussie Threekser. Nino's had a bit of a... He's had a good time of things in this sprint race, but he just hasn't been close enough to try and get any moves. And I think, to be honest, he might have been caught up in that turn 1 contact.
Right. Honey Badger for the lead. Spike had to defend. He thought about it, but Honey Badger not letting up on the brakes. He's going to try it, but Spike really confident on the traction. So Spike's able to hold on to the lead. Vicmil picks up a time penalty. Blizzard, though, is starting to catch his two as they start battling now, and they've dropped Siege at this point. So it's top 3 once again. Here comes Honey Badger to the outside. Is he going to get the move done around the outside? He's really late on the brakes. Or is he going to get it done? He is.
Here comes Blizzard as well.
What a move.
Blizzard as well. Gets on Spike. Can he get them both?
He thought about it, not quite, but brilliant move from Honey Badger. What a brilliant move.
He's on wide. Here comes Blizzard. Ooh.
Thinking about it, but not quite close enough. But DRS, this is going to be Blizzard's. This is going to be Blizzard's mistake, isn't it? There's no way Honey Badger can defend from this, and he doesn't choose to.
He should have defended to the inside, I think, make Blizzard's life a little bit harder. He cuts in front, maybe cuts a little bit too much in front.
Yeah, that was a bit
and Honey
too much from Blizzard.
And he's across the grass.
Yeah, that was a bit too much from Blizzard. Blizzard made the move, went up the inside, and then cut straight from the left-hand side.
Oh, and that needs removing as well.
Yeah, that's such a shame for Honey Badger. That's a real shame.
Yeah,
you can tell he's weaving
profusely down the straight. I don't blame him one bit at all. I do not blame him for that, and I honestly think Blizzard might get something for that, to be honest.
I think it's possible. He moved straight onto the racing line right in front of Honey Badger, and Honey Badger really didn't have anywhere to go, so yeah, that's definitely Blizzard's fault.
Honey Badger's sped in the pit lane and has retired from the race. I don't blame him for that at all. Spike, in the meantime, has now inherited second position and is giving Blizzard a bit of a hard time out in front. Everyone else coming through. Threeks and Nino, by the way, are having a very good set 2 out on track. They're down in towards turn 1 through the West Filio chicane. And Z3 could get the move done. Both of these back in the IRL days. So Nino and Z3 know each other very well indeed. And the Welshman and the Norwegian are about to go side by side, possibly through Curve Grande. What a camera angle this is on helicopter cam. As Z3 tries to go down the inside of Della Rogers again. He's later on the brakes and gets the move done. Lucky not to pick up a 3-second time penalty, but Z3 gets the move done and he's up into 8th position. They're both having a really good squabble. And look at Graham on the back, Venom on the back of Graham as well.
Yeah, Venom's recovering really well after his spin, and he's honestly in with a shout of points still, even with that spin. So good stuff from Venom coming back. Meanwhile, just on board with Spike, Bliss is definitely more confident at this point in the race. So I think it's only really a matter of time before Blizzard just disappears into the distance.
Venom down the inside on Graham. This for the final point scoring position. Remember, not top 8 in the sprint race. Venom getting that move done. Graham just thrown off the scent there slightly as Venom cuts across. There was Scary. Yes, we saw that. Venom through and he's up into P10. And Nino's on the back of Z3, so trying to go around the outside. Is he? The Welshman. Surely not around the outside of the Norwegian. Can he get the move done? I think he might have done. Shocking camera angle. Oh, and we've had a toxic again.
Oh.
Nino just lost on the outside curb, this time on the getting caught on the outside curb to tell the difference between toxic incident and that. Nino just got caught on the outside curb. He hit the side of Z3 and is out of the race on the opposite side of the track compared to Toxic. Just lost it on the outside curb. Nobody at fault there, I think.
Oh, that's such a shame for Nino, really. He had such a great debut last time out and it's not gone his way this time round. But he's still got really good pace, so hopefully we'll see more from him next time out.
Yeah, it hasn't been as...
Ooh. Sorry, just to cut in, but Vic Mills starting to catch Siege now. And Lewis has retired from the race now. Lewis is the next one to fall victim to the first Lesmo. Yeah. Another one that's gone round, so he's hit the inside wall. That's put Sean up into 6th. Sean, the only point scorer for Campos this time round. That's really going to hurt them in the manufacturers. It is going to hurt them so much. Z3 are now Trident outscoring Campos no matter what happens. And I mean, Venom has just got past the Trident car as well, so Venom is through and he's up into 7th position. Has made good ground after that spin. Honestly, could be... I'm not alluding to myself, but still 4 laps to go, but he could be on for P6 possibly, if he's quick enough. Yeah, I think if he's quick enough, Sean's definitely there for the taking. Anything above that's going to need a little bit of chaos, but yeah, I think another one to look out for. Vic Mills on the back of Siege. Vic Mills trying for another podium. Already reaching 9,000 RPM running down the straight. Yeah, not going to be close enough for the move. I think I thought Siege was going to be a bit too deep into the corner there, but he's not. Vic Mill though, still in 4th position. And how Maze would have loved to come back into the session. If somebody else DNFs, he'd be trying to frantically get back into the session and pick up that final point scoring position if something happens in front. He's left the session. Hopefully he can get an invite back in case something happens. Yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed you can, because he's still obviously on for a point if something happens, like you say. Another one to look out for. Another one just to obviously he's had a terrible race so far, but good on him for keeping going. Brandon Glover's had a number of incidents in this race, but he's still going and he's still going to get points from it, so fair enough from Brandon Glover. Good to see everyone committing though, that's the best thing. Everyone committing to the cause and everyone wanting to score points and the will to do well. Speaking of the will to do well, I thought Vic Mill was going to go down the inside of Siege through a Scary. Not going to get the move done there. Vic Mill actually a bit of a poor exit than Siege. Siege now 3rd, Vic Mill 4th. Yeah, I think Vic Mill's not quite as confident as Siege on traction, so Vic Mill's just going to have to try and do it. Maybe out of Parabolica, where traction isn't too much of an issue. It's definitely difficult for Vic Mill to try and get the switch back, but you can see just on the exit of Parabolica, Siege is much more confident on the throttle. He's also nearly a 10th and a half coming through Parabolica, and I mean, we talk about 10th and a half not being much, but coming on the outskirts of exiting Parabolica, I should say, that is quite a lot of time to lose. If he didn't lose that time, I think we would have been seen side by side down towards turn 1. Absolutely, yeah, and I think even if he hadn't got the move in turn 1, he might have been able to get the switch back into out of turn 2 because of that, but he isn't close enough. But he could be close enough now. Yeah, it's got good straight man speed in that Arden. I tell you what, no. Not confident enough. Yeah, not confident enough on the brakes. Siege, I think, a little bit phased by it. Siege was a bit late on the brakes. Here he comes, Vic Mill down the inside. Pure traction from Vic Mill. And has got the move done down the inside. I think that's Brandon. Is it Graham off? I think through turn 1 it is. Graham is off through turn 1. There's lost time to Brandon Glover, so both cars still going to be picking up points.
Vic Mill has got the move done for now, but now Siege is going to come back. Has that Damned got any response to the MP ahead? Siege looking to the inside line. He's just got out of the DRS range. He broke slightly actually down the straight. Not really using up his DRS that much, and Siege has held on for P4 for now. But Vic Mill P3 and getting a superior run out of Ascari.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's starting to die down a little bit. Just keeping a track on the gap between Venom and Sean. Venom is definitely closing, but
he's going to run out of time.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a last lap pass, I think, for Venom if he's going to try and take 6th. He's kind of dragging C-Fix along with him. Even with C-Fix's front wing damage, C-Fix has got some good pace in this race, so it's a shame for him that he's not really able to get the full potential out of that car in this one. But, oh, here comes Siege. I thought Siege might have a look at the moving Vic Mill back again for turn 3.
Oh, Spike! 3-second time penalty through turn 2, that was. That was on the exit of the Retifidio.
Yeah. I think Vic Mill's also got a time penalty. I'm not sure about Siege though. I'll have a double check on Siege just to see if he's got one. He hasn't. He's got 2 warnings, but he hasn't got a penalty just yet. So Siege is on course to still take that podium from Vic Mill. Oh, Vic Mill catching the curve very nicely on the right hand side through Della Roggia, and Speedy Suarez is nearly around in the background. I saw that sadly. Speedy Suarez nearly around in the background, just got caught on the gravel, just took a bit too much speed into the corner. Venom has picked up a 3-second time penalty, but he's gained the time. 2.6 seconds now the gap. It did drop down to 2.3. I wonder if he's made a slight mistake there. I'm under the impression he has slightly. Yeah, I'm wondering whether he took a little bit too much apex curve in the second part of the chicane and maybe just crossed him on traction from the exit of the corner. But yeah, at this point I think Venom's just not close enough to make the moves to Sean anymore.
Yeah, Vic Mill and Siege, the closest battle out on track. Blizzard, by the way, is just dominated. He's taking this race by the scruff of the neck. He is wanting this championship win. He won't wrap it up tonight, I don't think, but he will certainly wrap it up possibly next week. A new fastest lap of the race to boot as well, as he goes on to lap 11 out of 11 here in Italy. It is Blizzard who leads the way. Spike in second, Vic Mill third, Siege in fourth. Thank you so much everyone, by the way, for tuning in. We'll be next live tomorrow for Mini League 2 and Mini League 3. Mini League 2 will have the courtesy of myself taking you through that one. It was meant to be Aiden, but we've had a bit of a switcheroo. So Mini League 3 is going to be getting covered by you, and hopefully your internet will be fine to stream.
Fingers crossed, touch wood, everything crossed. Hopefully that's all good. But yeah, Mini League 3 last time out was great fun to watch back. So fingers crossed it's going to be like that once again tomorrow.
Well, if your internet is not up to standard and you can't stream, Super Sub James is always here to save the day. So I might be doing double comms tomorrow. That should be exciting.
Absolutely. Everyone give James some love if he does do that, because that's going to be a long night.
It's going to be a really long night. I think it's from 7 o'clock pretty much till 10 o'clock. 3 hours. Ooh. It's like doing a 24-hour stint. Well, 2.4-hour stint. Anyway, Siege trying to chase down Vic Mill. It's not going to be close enough. Blizzard has got the gap out to 3 seconds. And it's a dominant win in the end for the Trident man. The Trident are going to be extending their championship lead in this race, certainly. I don't think they did in the feature race, but Blizzard around the final corner of Parabolica. And he's going to take another dominant win. And I think that might be his 4th or 5th win of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Spike with a 3-second time penalty in second. Siege just misses out by 86/100ths of a second. Vic Mill in 4th, Suarez didn't pick up a time penalty, finished in 5th. Sean and Venom, going to be quite interesting to see if these swap around. Venom in 6th, Sean in 6th, Venom in 7th, they don't swap around. See, Thrix has just had a slight moment out of Parabolica, which I kind of caught. Right side end played damage across the line in 8th. Graham picking up his first points of the season in 9th, his debut tonight, of course, finishes in 9th. And Brandon Glover for Carlin rounds off the top 10. Sprint race actually proving to be better than the feature for once.
Yeah, it was a lot cleaner, I'd say, maybe the sprint race than the feature race was. But I think the second half of the race it kind of died down in action. That was probably the least action we've had in the sprint race in a long time.
And it's that man again, CRG Blizzard, who takes the win. I stand corrected on this. I think that is his 5th win of the season in total of number of races. We've had, of course, 14 races this season so far. Coming into tonight, Blizzard had 1, 2, 3 wins. Sprint race has gone to him. Feature race went to
Venom. So
Venom.
This is 4th win of the season, yeah.
So 4th win of the season. I was nearly there, I was right. Pretty much. They're out by 1. But
Yeah, absolutely.
it is that man again, Blizzard, who takes the fastest lap of the race as well, so gains 16 points as opposed to the 17 you see on your screen. Blizzard takes the win from Spike in 2nd, Siege in 3rd, Vicmil in 4th, Speedy Suarez has driven well this week in 5th, Sean in 6th, Venom in 7th, Z, Threekser, even with that front wing damage, getting across the line in 8th, finish ahead of his of the Frenchman Graham in 9th, Brandon in 10th, Maze is AI in 11th, Lewis, Nino, Honey Badger, Ollie, Flavel, Storm and Toxic all either not starting or not finishing the race. In that race, in the sprint race, who was your driver of the race?
Driver of the race has to be Blizzard. I think even for the whole evening so far, I think Blizzard he's got to be my driver of the day. He didn't obviously win the feature race, but he won it on track. Obviously penalties gave it to Venom in the end, but I'd say Blizzard. You can't really say anything bad about Blizzard, really, can you? He's just got so much confidence in these cars, and he's so fast. Even I actually just checked as well to see like the win list so far this season. Blizzard doesn't actually have the most wins out of drivers, but he is by far the most consistent person. If he's not first, then he's second, and if he's not second, then he's third. So yeah, it's got to go to Blizzard for me today.
Hallmarks of Calsper in TTL F1 League 1, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
As he was consistent, of course, during the season. We've only got 2 rounds left. I can't believe it. We've got Sochi next week in Russia. Hopefully you can join us for that one. Abu Dhabi the week after. Going into the final 2 weeks of the season, I mean, we're not beating around the bush. It's pretty much now Blizzard's to lose.
At this point, yeah, I think it's not really anything stopping Blizzard at this point. I mean, this was top 6 probably last opportunity really to really close that championship lead down to Blizzard and start putting some major pressure on him, and it just hasn't worked out. And while Vicmil was consistent in today's races, he just hasn't getting any points on his championship rival. So at this point, unless anything crazy happens to Blizzard, then it really is Blizzard's to lose.
It is Sochi though. Watch out for turn 2. Anything can happen. We saw it with Matsushita in 2019. Are we going to see a similar thing to that? You'll just have to wait and find out next week. But thank you very much for tuning in. Aidan, thank you for being here in the comments, in the commentary box as always.
No problem.
No problem. Right. That is pretty much it from us here tonight. We're not going to ramble on or anything like that. Well, Aidan might not, but I will. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's action. Of course, Mini League will be coming up tomorrow night. Mini League 2 and Mini League 3 will be live. Mini League 2 is first at 7 o'clock and 7:45, and that is, off the top of my head, France and Germany? Belgium?
I think France and Belgium?
France and Belgium.
Yeah.
Got confused with the flags and the country. But yeah, France and Belgium, I think it is, for rounds 1 and 2. And then for rounds 3 and 4 of Mini League 3 is... I'm relying on you for this one.
I believe. I want to say Japan and... I think that one's Japan and Germany, maybe.
Let me have a look.
We're very prepared for this.
You can tell we're so prepared for this. I'm not prepared for this. Right, let me have a look at our... at Esports Mini, by the way, on Twitter, if you do want to follow us on Twitter for the Mini League.
Japan and Germany for the 3rd and 4th rounds of League 3 tomorrow. So.
I knew Germany was in there at one point.
Yeah.
So France and Belgium for Mini League 2, which I'll have the kindness of myself commentating you through that one. I might be joined by a special guest as well. You'll have to wait out for that one. And for Mini League 3 is going to be Aidan. And am I under the impression that you've got a special guest, or are you doing it by yourself?
I believe I'm by myself, but if anyone wants a special guest, then give me a message. I'm more than happy to let you commentate alongside me. But yeah, I think it's just going to be me tomorrow.
It's going to be you, and I'm going to be joined by Conti in the commentary box for the first time on TTTV, so that should be quite exciting. I'm going to give him a good rundown, and of course, Mini League 2 will have the graphics. Sorry, Aidan, about that.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for tuning in here tonight for TTL F2. We hope that you are staying at home, protecting the NHS, protecting your health service wherever you live as well, and that you are saving lives. because honestly, I think we all need to come together at this point, and racing like this brings us together in one way possible, and that is to share the passion of Formula 1 and Formula 2 that we all love. And hopefully we have provided yourself with a smile on your face. You can watch back this stream with pride.
Absolutely.
Fitting words right there. Thank you so much for watching, though. We're going to end it here. Tune in for Mini League tomorrow night. Thank you so much for watching. I've been James Head. He's been Aidan Carter. Please take care of yourselves, and we will see you next week for Russia. Goodbye.